Good morning, everyone. I am here with the Elephant Crew team, Jake and Gerald. As you can see, we've got elephants behind us here and a group of tourists that have just gone through a wonderful elephant interaction. Jake, could I start with you? Could you tell us a little bit about the Elephant Crew and what you do?
Okay, so we are Elephant Crew, and we are a Zimbabwean trust. So we have charitable aims, and our vision is of an Africa where elephants and humans coexist in a balanced environment. And we aim to get to that vision through our CREW methodology. So CREW is an acronym for community, research, education and welfare. So we have programs in all those four areas which are designed to help us achieve our vision of that Africa where we all coexist happily in a balanced environment.
Fantastic. Now, obviously that sounds amazing, but in reality there's a lot of hard work that's going in here to make that vision come true. What are some of the challenges that you face to be able to get that vision to become a reality?
Well, I think, obviously in the Victoria Falls area here, as all of us know that live here, but maybe not those so much that live outside of this spaces, there is increasing pressure on space and wild areas, and that's really apparent in Vic Falls because it is a city of I don't know how many tens of thousands, but 50,000 plus people probably, right in the middle of a wildlife area, right in the middle of the Kaza region, which is probably one of the largest kind of natural areas left in Africa, and it certainly is home to the largest population of elephants. So obviously when you've got that space with lots of elephants and people sharing it, it causes challenges, and I think we're aware of that in Vic Falls. So we aim to try and address a lot of those challenges.
Yeah, fantastic, Jake. Just interesting, on our way here, obviously we live in Victoria Falls, and on our way here, I was just telling you about a herd of buffalo that had got itself sort of caught up in the suburbs, and a team trying to shepherd them back out to safety in the bush. Safety in terms of not that they were under threat from anybody, but they were obviously very, very stressed being surrounded by humans there. Gerald, I'd like to come across to you. Gerald, you've been working, I know you for many years. You've
Yes.
been working with elephants for a long time. Tell us what attracted you to start working with elephants?
It was accidental, to be quite honest with you. It was accidental. We had elephants on a farm where I was working, and there were elephants, and we were really going nowhere. And my boss came and said to me, we need to start doing something with these elephants. And that was almost about nearly 30 years ago, and I fell in love, and I'm still here.
Yeah, now I know that I watched a little bit of the briefing for these clients who I think mostly from America here today, and you do a wonderful briefing yourself, Gerald, where you sort of get into the mind of an elephant. Tell us a little bit about what sort of messages you're trying to impart to people that want to learn more about elephants, and why do you do it in such a theatrical manner? I love it, but why do you do it that way?
Okay, first of all, we want people to learn that the elephants are just like you and I. They've got feelings, and they feel pain, like the way you feel pain. So we want people to be fully aware of that, and that once people are aware that the elephant is also a living creature, it's not just another thing, people will start to appreciate them a little bit more, and once people start appreciating them, they'll want to preserve them, and they'll want to understand them. Before they will just want to shoot it, they want to find out the reason. Why is it doing that? And we want to keep them for the future generations. I want my grandchildren to see these animals. That's why we do that. Although it's fun being theoretical, you know me, but with fun, people tend to learn more rather than sending a serious message out.
And Jake, thanks very much, Gerald. And Jake, you yourself come from a elephant behavior background, and your mother as well, and it's in the family. Can you tell us a little bit about that history behind how your mother got into it and then yourself?
Sure. Well, I mean, you might be able to tell by my accent, I'm not completely African. I am from the UK, but my family's association with Africa has gone back right to my grandfather. He was an ecologist working for what was called the International Biological Programme. It was a precursor to IUCN in East Africa as far back as the 1930s. My mother then grew up in Africa, in East Africa and Congo. She became an ethologist, which is somebody who studies the natural behaviours of animals, and was out in the bush studying waterbuck back in 1959, I think. And then, you know, I didn't have a choice, so I got taken to Africa by my family in various different ways. My brother also worked in Africa for a long time. He's a journalist, and I was fortunate enough to come along with my mother on trips she was making to another place in Zimbabwe called Amiri, where they also had elephants in a similar situation to what Gerald was talking about, in that they had elephants on a farm and they weren't sure what to do with them. But you know, in that kind of restricted environment, you need to manage them somehow, and you need to interact with them to make sure that management is safe and of high welfare. So we started going there over the course of years, and then expanded to other different places that had elephants, and developed what's called cooperative teaching, which is a humane way of working closely with large mammals. Involves learning theory, developmental psychology, and a lot of practical experience. So that's how I ended up in this place.
Wow, pretty amazing, hey? To think that you can live a life like you two gentlemen and the other people here, you know, that's part of your team, working with elephants. Gerald, could you tell us a little bit about the daily routines that the elephants go through? Where do they stay at night, or are they able to wander around? How does it work here?
Okay, our day starts at around about 6 o'clock in the morning, where we take the elephants out from their enclosures. They've got beautiful enclosures where they stay, and also in the enclosures, one can either live by himself or he lives with his buddies. And we discovered this through what we call our observations. We do day observations where we find, and also night observation, to find who's friends with who. Okay, and we constantly do this twice a month, so that we can know who's friends or whether the dynamics have changed. Because one day I might like you, tomorrow, well, I might not like you. So that's how we do it. So, and some elephants, some are solitary, they want to be by themselves, and some they love to be with other elephants. So we actually put them in the right pairs. Now, once we let the elephants out at 6 o'clock, we do a teaching session where we just check the elephants over and see how they are, health check, to see if anything has gone wrong, if one is sick, or if one is moody, or if one is grumpy, or if one is just full of beans that day. So we see that during the teaching and health check. Then after that, we let the elephants go. They are free to roam around these 3,000 hectares. We've got 3,000 hectares right here, and they are free to roam around, although they've got their carers with them to just make sure that they don't wander far too off. And if they've got an activity like now, they'll come in here for about 15 minutes, 30 minutes, meet the clients, and after that, they are free to go. Then they go wherever they want. We do not restrict them. As you've seen, there's no restraints. They just move around and they do what they want to do. At night, we bring them back in at about 5:30, 1700 hours. We bring them in back to the stables, and in the stables we prepare a big meal for them. We give them banana grass, hay. We also give them melons, which I don't get. We give them lots of melons. So like I was just talking to one of the clients, I told them that in a month we go about 3 tons of melons for them. We buy 3 tons of melons.
You mean like what type of melons are they?
Watermelon.
Watermelons.
Yeah,
okay, so
watermelon.
not too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No.
No.
It's just a nice thing for the, like little treat when they get back in. And then we also have lots of browse, which is an important thing, because elephants spend a lot of their lives engaged in feeding behaviours, and that's fiddling around with sticks and stuff. So the browse allows them to spend extra time doing that and replicates what they'd be doing out in the bush. Really.
Yeah, so they feed themselves naturally, and unfortunately they are not like cars where you can switch off after activity. They are living creatures, and so we've got guys at night who will be watching them as well. Like it's like you when you go out for dinner. Sometimes you don't want a big steak, and sometimes you want a big steak, like me. As you can see, I always love big steaks. So when you're out there, I mean, when the elephants are back in, we've got guys who monitor them. So if they are feeding, like if he runs out of the night at night, we've got guys at 10 o'clock. We replenish their food. So put some more hay in or some browse in at 10 o'clock. That's at 2200 hours. Put more food in for them. But if they keep on eating more, we'll keep on giving them some more throughout the whole night. So we'll keep on feeding them. And then until the next morning, we repeat the whole cycle again.
Sounds like a pretty good life, eh? So I just want to come back to the bigger picture, gentlemen, and talk a little bit more about the problems that wild elephants are facing in Africa. Let's say, as you rightly pointed out, we have the largest remaining population of African elephants, of which Victoria Falls is at the center of that region, Kaza, the Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier National Park, or conservation area rather. Looking at human populations, I think there are projections that we may be reaching around 2 billion humans on this continent by 2050. What kind of mitigation can we put in place, and what sort of, how do we fulfill a vision to have humans, elephants really coexisting? I know you've alluded to this already, but can we talk a little bit more about that?
So yeah, I mean, we try to address that through our community and education programs. That's really what our crew methodology is about. And so the education program is very similar to what the guests have just done now. It's an immersive educational talk. Firstly, as Gerald said earlier, it helps change perceptions towards elephants. And then we also introduce some of the ways in which people can live side by side peacefully with elephants, such as chili fences and bees and crop management and things like that. Okay. So we introduce those ideas, and then we bring community groups here to us, as well as school groups. And what we found is with one particular community, our pioneering community program with the Scabello community, we brought their elders here. They did the program. They started saying things like, "Oh, elephants are a bit more like humans than I thought." So the perception change has started, and then they started going, "Well, can you tell us a bit more about these chili fences? Can you tell us a bit more about how we stop elephants coming into our farms and eating everything?" And so that community then, once they went through our education program, actually invited us to go into their community. We weren't turning up and telling them what to do. Right. They, of their own initiative, wanted us to come into their community and help them. So that means they're more invested in it. we've managed to go and do several chili training sessions with them in combination with another partner organisation, Connected Conservation, which has also facilitated setup of a guardian within the community who helps them with human-wildlife conflict situations. And what we've found is we're getting feedback from the farmers saying, oh yeah, this is really working, I got a better yield last year. The farmers that are next door to them who haven't done it are going with jealous eyes, why is he getting more than me? Maybe I need to start doing this. So that's our main focus at the moment in helping that whole human-elephant coexistence issue, is to help people feel better about elephants, but then introduce methods that are practical, realistic, on the ground, that help these guys in these communities live side by side with these enormous, iconic mammals without coming into conflict and being peaceful.
Well, there we go, folks. I know we'll talk for hours about these things, but that's given us a really nice snapshot into what you're doing. Thank you for all the efforts that you're taking. Elephants are a huge important part of our region, and indeed part of a legacy for the world that we need to take care of. The Elephant Crew, you can find this operation on the internet, of course. I think you're on all the social medias. Encourage you to go and have a look at their website. It's as you've seen, it's a combination of taking care of elephants close up, using those elephants or using them to educate the tourists that are coming through and want to learn and understand more about these incredible creatures, and they can get up close to them. And then of course the outreach programs that you're doing, working with the communities, getting their buy-in. So yeah, wonderful work, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed, and we wish you all the best and good luck as you go forward.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Folks, I just want to draw your attention to this manual. It's called We Are Mammals, and Elephant Crew have contributed to this. This is it's undergone a multi-stakeholder approach. There are experts that have contributed, from vets to wildlife people in education about conservation, that have come and put this together. And as you can see, it's all about management and welfare of elephants in human care. And there are a number of things in here that people that are looking after elephants need to adhere to, because without that they won't be taking care of the elephants properly. So very important. Elephant Crew contributor to this, as well as obviously adhering to the rules and regulations of it.